Good evening, everyone. I have some maintenance work to do before we get started with our speaker. The first thing I would like to ask everyone to do, though, is we'd like to have a moment of silence for the people of Las Vegas who've lost their lives and loved ones. So we could, for just a moment, have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Good evening. Welcome to the Victoria College Lyceum presentation, the first one of the 2017-2018 academic year. The Victoria College Lyceum Committee would like to thank the following for their contributions: the Museum of the Coastal Bend, the Victoria Advocate, the Victoria Television Group, and tonight's speaker is sponsored in part by the Redeemer Lutheran Church. The mission of the Lyceum, Victoria College Lyceum, is to bring the world to Victoria by giving students and community members the opportunity to hear firsthand the ideas, experiences, and aspirations of individuals who have had a direct impact on the world events, made major scientific discoveries, touched people's hearts and imagination, and molded public debate. The Lyceum Committee believes our speaker today fulfills that statement. You, the community, will have an opportunity to make potential speaker selections for next year. On the Victoria College webpage, a link allows you to make speaker selections. If you have the name and other pertinent information on a potential speaker, please go to the Victoria College webpage and make a submission. The past year, we received dozens, if not hundreds, of potential speaker suggestions from the community. Please continue that. Tonight's presentation will last about an hour with question and answers at the end. Earlier, and I think there were some handouts being made, there was a phone number. It is 361-524-8638. If you wish to submit a question, we ask that you text it. If you have an iPhone, iMessages do not count. You have to send it in a text message. If you have a question for our speaker, just go ahead and text them. We will select the questions and we'll be able to ask between about 5 and 10 of them. We are restricted by time constraints. After the question and answer, there will be a very short book signing on stage. Due to time constraints, the book signing will be brief. I have one last thing to say about your phones. If you want to text a question, please feel free, but if you would, turn it to vibrate or mute so it doesn't go off during the presentation. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm not Kris Paronto. My name is Pastor Andy Schreier. I'm one of the two pastors at Redeemer Lutheran Church here in Victoria and in Edna. And about a year ago, I was talking with a pastor friend of mine from Nebraska who was telling me about this guy whose family went to his church. He said, his name is Kris Paronto. He was one of those guys on the security detail at Benghazi. I thought, wow, that's interesting. You say, oh yeah, he's a really great guy. He helped write the book 13 Hours and the movie, and now he's going around the country talking about the events of that 13 hours. And he told me he's a Christian, and he's one of these kind of guys that just can't not talk about his faith. And so when he talks about it, he says how God helped him through it and talks about his faith. And I went back to talk to our people from our church, and we're like, oh, we should get him to come to Victoria. So we proposed his name to the Lyceum committee, and they picked him. Never in our wildest dreams did we imagine that would be anything controversial or political, but it did end up happening. But I want to encourage you today, because there are people here that may agree with everything Kris says. And there'll be people here that may disagree with everything he says. But especially in light of the events of last night, I would encourage you to think of tonight as an opportunity for us as a community to stand up and do something our world isn't doing. That we disagree respectfully. We can do that, can't we? I mean, I know we feel strongly about these things, but, you know, it's smart, it's wise to sit and humbly listen to somebody else and their thoughts. It's good to say what you believe, but like the Bible says, it says, speak the truth in love. And we can do that. And so that's my encouragement to you today before I introduce Kris here. Whatever side you fall on any of these issues, that as a community that we now stand up and that we, if we're going to disagree, that we do so respectfully. But now that being said, it is a distinct privilege of mine. I got to know him a little bit more, and now I know why my friend Steve likes him so much. But it's my privilege to present to you Kris "Tonto" Paronto.
I think they're going to play the featurette first, aren't they?
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Let me invite you.
And then the director.
Pull over for inspection.
How willing are you to die for your country? I'm ready to go right here, right now.
The GRS stands for Global Response Staff. These are individuals that all have special services backgrounds.
State's under attack. Let's go, man. State's under attack.
So this was an extraordinary GRS team.
None of you have to go. But we are the only help they have.
You've got ex-Navy SEALs, Marines, and you've got an Army Ranger in Tonto.
My name's Christian Paronto, and my call sign was Tonto.
Tonto is one of a kind. He's a guy who is ready for anything. You know, he signs his emails RLTW, Rangers Lead the Way. And that's how Tonto lives his life.
They're good. They're good things. The actor that's playing me is Pablo Schreiber. Whenever he had a question, he could always call me. I taught him the Ranger Creed. He learned that. And he was willing to learn what I was willing to help him through.
I hate to be a wet blanket, girls, but 5 dudes with M4s is not enough. Perimeter's soft, and this whole compound's a sniper's paradise.
We had a lot of conversations about what his service was like, and then what the experiences of that night, and the effect they had on him, and the effect that they still have on him today.
We're losing the initiative, Chief. Come on.
If you do not get here soon, we are all gonna die.
People have asked, is it surreal seeing him playing me? And no, not really. I've been able to do a lot of things in my life. Been very lucky, and this is just a new experience. It's just another chapter.
As long as I'm doing the right thing, God will take care of me.
13 Hours, a Michael Bay film, rated R.
Hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Kris "Tonto" Paronto.
Thanks, guys. Sit down, please. Sit down, please. Thank you. Get this. So you won the contest, huh? I said, you didn't bring it. Seriously, she was just kidding. You didn't bring anything to throw, did you? Okay. Thank y'all for coming. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I have friends that live down here. Actually, I have a Ranger buddy that lives down here. He's in Iraq right now, actually still contracting, but it's a great place. And I don't think people realize that our ties, when you're in the service, you just get tied in with all sorts of communities that maybe you wouldn't have before. But I just want to say thank you for having me, guys. Really do. I don't know how long I have, maybe about 45 minutes, maybe an hour, 15 minutes, whatever it is. I just kind of talk. And when I talk, I just kind of lose myself a little bit. So ground rules when I talk. I really don't have any. If I bore you, there's exits. You can help yourself out. I'm not politically correct at all, so if I offend you, help yourself out. There's exits everywhere, because I'm not going to try to tone it down a little bit. That's just how I am. I was raised like, my daddy's from Lubbock, Texas. So, and you speak your mind. That being said, I'm going to talk about Benghazi, and I'm going to talk about things outside of Benghazi as well, but I don't get political in the talk. I tell you what happened. I tell you other things that may have happened to me in Iraq and Afghanistan when I was in Pakistan, when I was in Yemen. And I'll be honest, I loved every one of those places. I still have a timeshare in Mosul if anybody wants to use it. I loved Mosul. I loved it. And I'm being serious. I spent 10 years of my life overseas. And when I came back from Libya, came back from Benghazi, and after all that happened, and I saw the media spin things left and right, and I saw that, I didn't hate anything. I went back to work. I went back to Yemen because I love this country. That's what I did. I said, I'm going to keep serving, be with my brothers. Got to get out of here. So as I talk, what I want to get into you from, if we can, from Libya and lessons learned from Benghazi is that Benghazi shouldn't be made a political statement. It was. And believe me, I got my political opinions too when I get attacked. You guys that follow me on Twitter, you know that. You know that. But Benghazi is about heroism. It's about courage, sacrifice, selfless service. It's about never quitting, never giving up. That's what it's about. That's what happened that night. So as I talk, I want you guys to get that out of it. If you can. If you can't, no worries. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. We'll sign some books later. I'll shake your hands or not, and we'll call it even. Well, I'm going to get started. One more thing, too. I may say stuff here that you may not think you should laugh at because it's war, what we're in. It's okay, laugh, because we were laughing that whole time. If you watch the movie, you watch 13 Hours, and you watch the jackassery of Paronto that Pablo Schreiber portrayed, all those jokes, I said all those things because you have to find a way to get through those times where you're feeling low, where you feel overwhelmed. It's a way to get it out. And I'll be honest, that's what war is. It's a lot of guys being brothers and saying the worst one-liners you can remember from movies because you got to pick yourself up. So if you feel like you shouldn't laugh, or wait, put it that way, if you feel like you should laugh, but maybe it's not the appropriate time to, please laugh, because it is. There's always the appropriate time to laugh, always. Well, Benghazi, Libya, 9:32, we got a call. And I had a great team, fantastic team. 2 Navy SEALs. We had Tyrone Woods, who passed away that night, Roan, Dev Grugas, SEAL Team 6. We had Jack Silva, West Coast SEAL, great guy. He looks, his face is still blurred out. You still don't know exactly what Jack looks like because his wife still wears the pants in that family. She has said, you are not going to show your face. You're not going to show your true name. Everybody else you know, except for Jack. And I wouldn't mess with her. I know her too. She's tough as nails. I wouldn't mess with her either. But she looks, not she, that would be odd. He looks just like John Krasinski. They look exactly alike. It's the splitting image. Big ears coming out to here, big jawline with the boy next door. You know, that's Jack. He's awesome. And then we had 3 Marines. We had Mark Osgeist, who you've probably seen on TV a few times. John Tig Tigan, big cowboy you may have seen on TV a few times, glasses, big Marine. Then you had D.B. Benton, Boone. Boone and I have a training company now. We work together. We still train. Boone and I had been together for 10 years. Boone is my best friend. How blessed was it for me to have my best friend with me that night? How lucky is that? Is it lucky? I don't know. Sometimes when you have faith, it's odd how your luck increases when there's faith out there. But I had Boone right next to me that night. So lucky. And then you had the Army Ranger. Me, 2nd Battalion, 75th Ranger Regiment. And, I know you jarheads and you SEALs out there were very lucky to have that Marine there that night to hold it all together. I'm kidding. I know there's Marines in the audience going, that son of, I'm going to kick his butt. I love you guys. And I'm going to give you the most guff because my best friend's a Marine. So just get used to it. I got the stage. We can fight after, but I'm going to win up here right now. But the team was awesome. And the team was full of, I don't want to call us brothers. We were. But we found a way to overcome any differences that we had. Oz and I don't get along. We don't like each other. I don't like Oz. He doesn't like me. But we found a way to put those differences aside to do our jobs. I think we need to do that more. We need to find a way to put a lot of things aside to do our job. And we did it because if we didn't put our differences aside and we fought with each other, then when the worst case scenario happened like that night in 9/11/2012, people died. Or more people would have died. So you find a way to overcome those things. You find a way to work together. And we did. Put our pride aside. All right, let's work together. Let's figure this out. And we're going to be a team. And we needed it that night. Well, 9:32, we get a call. Go back to it. And I remember, because I'm reading a graphic novel, which is, I'm fancying up. That's a comic book, guys. I'm reading a comic book. Boone's reading philosophy. He reads that Joseph Campbell crap. I don't know how he enjoys reading that stuff, but Boone is he's I have a master's degree, but Boone is smarter than me. So I just have me look smarter on paper, but that guy is smarter than I am. He's reading that Joseph Campbell, and we're sitting there, and I remember 9:32, we got a call, and from our GRS team leader, our staff guy, he's an employee, and he says, GRS, we need you in the team room. Now, it's a very nonchalant call. There wasn't a sense of urgency in that voice. I remember when I heard it. And I remember Boone looked at me and says, Tano, he looked right over, he goes, Tano, what'd you do now? Now, if you've seen the movie or if you've worked around Rangers, Bat Boys, what we call us, we just like to make fun of people. We do. That's what we do. And Boone's been with me for 10 years. Now, if you watch 13 Hours, if you haven't seen it or you watch it again, you'll see where me and Boone, the guys that plays Dave Denman and Pablo Schreiber played me, Dave Denman played Boone, we're watching this movie, and it's the second best war movie ever made. First best is 13 Hours, of course. Second best is Tropic Thunder, right? It is. Well, there's a reason it's referred, and we reference it in the movie, and the movie's great. I mean, the movie, Michael listened to us. He really made it as accurate as he could within that 2-hour period we had it. But there's a reason there's a reference to 13 Hours. I mean, there's a reference to Tropic Thunder. Now, I'm from Nebraska. My sense of humor is very lowbrow. Larry the Cable Guy, you know. Bill Engvall, here's your sign. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Jeff Foxworthy, that's my kind of humor. Well, the reason we have that Tropic Thunder reference is because there was a joke I used to play on a lot of the case officers, the Jason Bournes that used to come over. I had a sign, I had a little sheet of paper actually that I had laminated. And it was from the character of Robert Downey Jr., Sergeant Cyrus O'Malley, whatever his name was. And you know, I had that famous line where he's talking to Ben Stiller and they're going back about I Am Sam and Rain Man and all that. And he says, never go full retard, right? Well, I had a sign that was laminated. And it was Sergeant Cyrus O'Malley's face looking like this, looking right at it. So when you look at it, he's looking right at you and it says, never go full retard. Well, you know, again, that's not politically correct, but hey, come on, I'm in Libya. I'm getting shot at. I think you can give me a little leeway there. Well, whenever a case officer did something stupid, which I thought was dumb, I put it on their desk. So that's the first thing they saw when they walked in. They said, never go. Now, it was to make fun, yes, but it also was, and being a private at Ranger Battalion, we get chewed up. That torture report that came out, I remember a while back from how awful it was at Guantanamo Bay. I read that thing, I'm like, holy crap, I wish that's all they did to me. And when I was at Ranger Battalion as a private, I got used up constantly. Well, I put it on their desk because I knew that if they reacted poorly to it, that when stuff really got real and serious, I couldn't depend on them. That's the reason why SEALs, that's the reason why Rangers, that's the reason why Marines, that's why we get hazed. We get hazed. I've had a snorkel mask full of water on my face with a hose in my mouth doing flutter kicks to see how I would react. If I panicked, they kept it there. If I didn't, they took it off. If I can't handle that, how am I going to handle when bullets start flying? People start shooting at me. Well, that's why I did it too. How are you going to react? You going to get all hurt or are you going to laugh, have a sense of humor? I could tell who was going to respond well that night, 9/11/2012, and who wasn't going to respond just by that little reaction that I got from that little sheet of paper. So sometimes, guys, if you get pushed a little bit, don't get offended. All right, see, you're going to handle it. Because if things really go bad, if you can't handle a little bit of a push, a little bit of somebody make fun of you a little bit, how are you going to handle when things really get bad? All right. That's just my little spiel there. Well, Boone looks at me because he thought I got us in trouble. So go back to 9/11/2012, 9:32, we get a call, GRS, we need you in the team room. Boone looks at me and says, Tano, what'd you do? And I remember I thought to think for a second, like, what did I do? Did I make fun of anybody today? I do it all the time. I can't remember. I said, no, I didn't do anything, buddy. I'm clean. I'm good. 30 seconds later, though, we do get a emergent call. And it's that type of call where the hair on the back of your neck stands up. The spine tingle. I still feel it. And it's our GRS team leader, our staff guy, our employee. He says, GRS, we need you in the team room now. Now, Boone and I have been deploying for 10 years at this point. We've been going overseas for 10 years together at this point. We both know what that sound is. We both know what that tone in the voice. We don't need to even know. He doesn't need to say anything else. We're like, oh, crap, something's going on. And you just feel that adrenaline, and you feel it going out. Now, I talk to people about adrenaline and talk about how to deal with adrenaline. It's just a physical reaction, guys. Your mind is what plays games with you. That adrenaline, when it starts kicking in, and this is just something I've learned from deploying and being a Ranger and Special Forces guy for 8 years, and then being a contractor for 10, is that when that adrenaline comes, physically push it out. Physically think, okay, it's just adrenaline. I can use this fuel, push it out to your hands, push it out to your feet, push it out to your head and your eyes. So your world just goes, shh. That's why a lot of us guys, and I've had post-traumatic stress, it's not a disorder, that's a label, it's a badge of honor, guys that have. I've had it since 2007, deployed with it for 6 more years, and I've been telling the story for the 4. You can deal with it. That post-traumatic stress, that adrenaline that we feel, it's hard to replicate that when we come back here. It is, that's why we have issues sometimes. But I'm thinking, okay, push it out to my face, push it out to my eyes, and your world just goes, we call it going in the flow. We're in the flow. We're in it. All right, let's get it. It's time to go get some action. And I remember he looks at me, I looked at him, we grabbed our stuff. He smiled at me. I know what he's thinking because I can finish his sentences, and he smiles at me, and I go, we could do something fun tonight. And we head out the door. Always go forward. You're always going forward. Never quit. We get out the door, and immediately I'm seeing the tracer fire. We're 3/4 mile away from the consulate. We're at the CIA annex. We're CIA. We're contractors. We're called direct hire independent contractors. What's that acronym stand for? Just want to see if anybody's caught that. It's DIC. Yeah, you got it right there. But that's what we're called. DHICs, direct hire independent contractors. So we go out that door. It's contractors, and I look and I see the tracers. I see orange and I see green, and I hear the machine gun fire. And I remember looking in it and just going, holy crap, that's beautiful. It is. Watching it, you're hearing it, and I've been doing it for 10 years. Now, I know that may not be easy to say, especially with what took place last night. And when I heard the videos, heard the, and that's a machine gun. That guy's got 2 of them. I can hear them. They're going. Honestly, to me, when I heard it, I felt like home. Does that make me wrong? Well, maybe. But that's what so when I'm seeing that, I'm watching those tracers, and I'm thinking back to Lashkar. I used to fly in Lashkar, which is in the Helmand province outside of Kandahar. I used to fly with my 2 little Pashtu guys. Love those little guys, my little Pashtu security guys, because I worked with the Kandahar security force. That was my team, was a bunch of little local Kandahar guys. Love those guys. We used to fly into Lashkar, land in this little airfield with a little helicopter, get off these little birds, give us some more Afghani security guys, go to this little house in Lashkar, and go up on the roof, and I had Copenhagen, I had coffee. He chewed this stuff called Maswar. It's like 8 million times stronger than Copenhagen. I took some once, and he started laughing at me because as soon as I put it in my mouth, I started spinning. I don't know how those guys dip that stuff. But he gets his Naswar, and we just sit up there together, and we used to watch firefights all night because we weren't supposed to be there. We're just there to protect the case officers. And I'm watching, and I'm thinking back from Benghazi. I'm back in Benghazi. I'm thinking back, Lashkar, how beautiful that was, seeing the firefights, seeing the tracers, depending on if it's an AK-47 or a PKM, which is a belt-fed weapon system that they use. And I'm watching a team full of leaders, because the team of leaders, my team, the contractors, we're doing what good leaders do in those situations. We're shutting up and doing our jobs. Nobody's yelling. Nobody's yelling, hey, do this, do this, do this. We know what each responsibility is. We know what we need to do. We're doing it. That's what good leaders do. And I remember as we're going and getting everything ready to go, we're good. 5 minutes, we're good to go. And I remember I'm walking, and I see Tyrone. He's got a sedan. He's got Tig and Jack in it. Boone's already got my SUV set up because I'm driving. Boone always sits in the driver's passenger seat there because he's my gunner. And I go by Tyrone. Tyrone goes like this to me. I go like this back to Tyrone. Means we're universal sign, ready to go. I go to my chief of base, Bob. I go to my team leader, who's standing there. And I go, hey, chief, we're ready to go. They're on their cell phones. I don't know who they're talking to. Chief looks at the team leader, says, tell these guys they need to wait. Now, I'm standing right here. Like, Chief, hey, I'm right here, dude. You can talk to me directly. Team leader actually has the gall to look at me and says, you guys need to, and I stop him. I go, I got it, man, thanks. I walk back to my car. Tyrone says, what's going on, Tono? I says, Ron, they're telling us we got to wait. That's hard. Because we're hearing the radio calls from Alec Henderson and Scott Wicklund and Dave Ubin now, too, because they got our freaks. They're the State Department guys that are getting overrun. And Alec is on the radio going, GRS, we need you. GRS, we're taking heavy fire. I mean, we can hear them. I can see it. I can hear their RPGs go boom, boom when they hit. RPGs don't shh. There's an explosive propellant when they go. It goes boom, and then when they hit, they boom. You don't see an RPG. You can't see it. The only reason you are able to see it in the movies is because if we put it in real life, you would never see anything. All you would see is explosions everywhere, because that's what it looks like in real life. Boom, 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 boom. Things are going crazy. Well, as Alec is saying, GRS, where are you? We're just having to kind of eat it, bite the bullet. It's hard. As the 5 minutes turns to 15 minutes, That's when Alex says, GRS, you swore you'd get here. When he says that, that cut all of us. You could just feel somebody stick a knife in all of us and just twist. Because we did swear. Marines, SEALs, and Rangers, we gave our word. We would help. We would be there. If you go back to the movie again, you watch 13 Hours, there's a scene where Pablo Schreiber, who played me in the movie, is that better, guys? Pablo Schreiber, who played me in the movie, by far the best actor in the movie, too, by the way. He's, you know, he's a little bit bigger than me. He's like 6'2", 230, not quite as good looking, so we take what we can get. Actually, Pablo and I are still friends to this day, too. I just talked to him last week. He's a great guy. We have our political differences, but we don't let that get in the middle of our friendship. He's a great guy. And he took the time to learn. If you guys can't hear me, just go like this. He took the time to learn and get to know me. That's why when you see him in the movie, and I watched the first time, I'm like, holy crap, that's a taller, bigger, uglier me, but that's me. Like, that's me up there. Well, there's a scene where he's on the diving board. I remember that. I'm arrogant. I am arrogant as heck. My frontal lobe filter, when I get up in the morning, I leave it on my desk because I don't use it when I'm talking, especially overseas. So the frontal lobe filter is there. And I remember on that diving board, I remember looking at Scott, Alec, and Dave. And I remember we just done a risk assessment of this compound, this 9-acre facility. And I'm looking at it going, in my head, I'm going, these guys are screwed. I didn't say screwed either in my head. I said the other word. But I remember I looked right at Scott and I said, dude, look at these walls. They're soft. There's a sniper's paradise. You got buildings that can shoot down in here. You got a terrorist organization living on the compound with you. 17th Feb Mars Brigade, they're not your friends. Those guys are bad guys. They're living on the compound with you. I said, what kind of weapon systems do you have? They said, we got rifles, pistols. I said, where's your machine guns? They said, we requested them, but they're not going to give us to us. Too high profile. They don't want to offend the locals. I'm like, okay. Now, I worked for State Department before I went to agency. So I kind of know the logistical aspects of some of those things. But I remember I looked right at Alec and I looked right at Scott and I looked right at Dave and I looked at all their eyes and I said, if you get attacked by a big element, you know you're going to effing die. You're going to die. You don't say that to a civilian in the Middle East, North Africa, that they're going to die. And I felt awful because his eyes went, whew, and I went, oh, you idiot, you don't say that. I put the frontal lobe filter, grabbed it from my desk, I reinserted it in the front of my brain cavity there, and I looked at him again. I said, if you ever need us, we'll come get you. The whole team swore that day that we would come help them. Now we're going to come regardless, but we gave our words, Marines, SEALs, and Rangers. So when Alec says, GRS, you swore you'd get here, you just felt the team go, we're going back on our word. You don't do that. John 15:13, love wasn't greater than this, that a man lay down his life for his friend. Selfless service, sacrifice, that's what we do. That's what we're there for, to give of ourselves. That's what everybody should do. Honestly, that's the right thing to do in any situation. Well, I remember when that happened, you just felt the team start to take over. Bottom-up leadership. We're going to do what we need to do. Now, I want you guys to keep in mind, yes, we leave the gate. Possibility of dying increases every minute that goes by. Okay, it's war. It's what we do. Also, though, we know we're going to lose our jobs, which we did. We all got fired. We did. We all lost our security clearances, too. Every one of our security clearances, CIA, State Department, Department of Defense, every one of them. We also know that we have the worst insurance in the world called Defense Base Act insurance. We're not staffers, so we don't have government insurance. We have to buy our own insurance. We also know there's a clause in there that says if we go out of our normal scope of duties, we get no health insurance and no life insurance. Disobeying orders is out of our normal scope of duties, if you didn't know that. We die over there, our families get nothing. We get injured over there, it's out of our own pocket. Doesn't matter. You give of yourself. Always give of yourself. They need us. You don't need to be a Ranger or SEAL Marine to do that. You just got to be willing to do it. And the team knows that. And I think because of the team, we all knew that. We all knew we were going regardless. I got your back, you got mine, let's roll. 25-minute mark, we get a call on the radio from Alec Henderson. I still remember, and it sounds just like him in the movie. It sounds like the real Alec, because the guy that played Alec wanted me to, he wanted to repeat it to me like 8 million times when we were on set. And I'm like, I don't want to hear that anymore. It's killing me. He says, GRS, if you don't get here, we're all going to effing die. That wasn't dramatization. That's what he said. And I remember I saw Ty, and I still get chills thinking about it. Ty cracked his door, and Ty's SEAL Team 6. Ty's freaking yoked. He's a monster. He looks like Leonidas. He's monstrous. He cracks the door and he goes like this to me, and all I see is this ham hock of an arm come out of the car door. I'm like, yes. I get to go to combat. That's what I'm thinking in my head. I get to go to combat with Leonidas, and I give my thumbs up back through my car window, and we start to move. Now, I'm thinking as we're going through this 25-minute mark, and when I do more about leadership talks, I talk about wargaming. Every minute that goes by, you need to wargame. What's going to be the next thing we do? So every minute that went by, so at the 5-minute mark, what we're going to do at the 25-minute mark, we're actually left has changed. You're thinking in your head, what do I need to do next? What do I need to do next? Well, as we're leaving, I'm thinking, all right, we need our interpreter. We need Henry. We call him all in the movie. I love that little guy, Henry. I'm calling Henry on the radio. I can't find him anywhere. I'm like, oh, I'm getting pissed. Like, Henry, I need you. Henry, I need you. Stop the car. Stop. I got to find Henry. I'm thinking we need this. I've been through this situation before in Kabul. I've been through this in Kandahar. I've been through this in Mosul. Been through this in Baghdad. We link up with a foreign force. I don't speak the language well enough that there won't possibly be what we call a blue on green incident. We link up with a friendly foreign force, and now there's a gunfight because we don't speak the language. The language barrier is there. So it's just guns up, and everybody just starts shooting. It's like, Henry. I'm like, Henry, can't find him. I said, have faith. Now, I believe in God. I do. Worst Christian in this room. I am the worst. My guardian angel kicks God every day going, how did I get this assignment, this jackass? But as a good Christian, I'm not going to tell you what to believe in. We don't do that. Good Christians don't. All I'm going to say is believe in something. There is something out there. I promise you that. There is. Because when I got out of my car, Henry's walking right in front of me. I'm like, oh, that's convenient. Thanks. I go up to Henry. Henry is a little Egyptian guy. Love this guy. He looked great in the movie. He did not look like that in real life. He looked like Bob Newhart. He looked like Bob Newhart if Bob Newhart was from Egypt. He was the Egyptian Bob Newhart. So, little guy, balding, little frumpy, he's cute. He was the most adorable little dude ever. I love that little guy. I did have to break up with him when we left Benghazi. But I remember going up to him, and I remember looking at him, and I go, dude, we need you. We need you. And he's not ready for this. He's not even supposed to go out the gate. He's a linguist. Bob Newhart does not go to combat. He did the most courageous thing that any of us did that night. Out of all the courageous things that happened that night, that guy was the most courageous. I went up to him, I said, Henry, we need you. He looks right at me, he goes, Tono, I'm not a combat terp. I'm not weapons qualified. I handed him my pistol. I said, you are now, go get your stuff. He took my pistol, he did a 180, and he ran back into Building C, where all of our gear was, all the stuff is. Now, I'll be honest, Boone was leaning on our vehicle, because Boone's cool as a cucumber. He's still cool. Boone's leaning on our vehicle like this, going, and I know what he's thinking. I look at him, and I go, he ain't coming back, is he? I just lost my pistol, didn't I? And I saw, 30 seconds later, this little Egyptian turtle, because the helmet's too big, the body armor comes down to there. He's coming out like this, and I just see this little turtle run at me, and I smiled, just like, this is what I did. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. I couldn't have been more proud of anybody that day than that little guy. He doesn't belong in the situation, but he trusted us. It didn't matter that we were different religions. It had no ethnicity. It made no difference. He trusted us. I trusted him. Come on, we're a team. And I see this little guy coming out, and I giggled, and I laughed. I said, you're adorable. Get in my car. And I put him in the back of my car, and we headed out the gate. Sorry, guys. These things. Well, we drive down there. We're on this road called Gunfighter, and we're going down on Gunfighter. And as we're going down on this road called Gunfighter, we're supposed to make a right down a dirt road. It's 400 meters. There's a front gate right there where the consulate is. I wish it was that easy. Wasn't. We got 400 meters. So we're driving. We're going down Gunfighter. There is a local force that looks like they're in a gunfight. Well, it looks like 2 of them are in a gunfight. The other 20 of them are running around going like this. Oh, it's like cats with their heads cut off or chickens with their head cut off, whatever it is. Cat, did I say cats? I don't. Jeez, I hope nobody from PETA's in this room. I'm going to get hit for that one too. Oh my goodness. Yeah. But I remember they're running around, and nobody's doing anything but there's 2 guys. They're going around the corner with their AKs. One guy's a PKM. They're going, brrr, they're coming back, spraying and praying. They do it. That's how they fight. Brrr, spray and pray, come back. Boone looks at me and goes, we waited 30 minutes for this. Boone always states the obvious. I go, roger that. Well, we have to assess the situation. Nobody wears uniforms. We don't know who good or bad are. We have no clue. So we stop our vehicles behind this 8-foot-high block wall. We're supposed to make a right-hand turn on gunfighter, but we can't because it's blocked. And we get out, and you get out of your cars. Immediately you're going guns up because you want to make sure they're friendlies. As you're looking at to see if they're friendlies, you get close to that wall, you start hearing snaps. Snap, 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 snap. Snap. And you hear snap, 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 snap. Then you hear a boom, like a 2x4 hit behind you. That snap is when a high-velocity round goes by your head. It breaks the sound barrier. Now, you may think I'm demented. You may think I shouldn't say this. I don't care. When snap goes by your head, it's freaking awesome. It's like, yes. All right, they're shooting at us. That 2x4 sound, bam. It's when a 7.62 round, a big round, hits something solid that's nearby. We had a block wall that was behind us, so you'd hear a whap. It missed us, and it hit the block wall behind us. That's what it sounds like. And I see guys, a team of leaders. Nobody panics. Everybody just moves into position. And I see Ty and I see Jack move with their M4s to start putting rounds downrange to suppress this heavy weapon systems that are blocking us because we waited 30 minutes. They just did what we would do. It's nothing that we wouldn't do. We do the same thing. We're locking that place down. That's what they did. Ansar Sharia and Al-Qaeda in the Maghreb, the two groups. I see Tig, big country boy Tig with our breech-loaded 40-millimeter grenade launcher. He cracks that breech. He puts a little golden egg in, big 40-millimeter grenade in, puts it down. It looked like he was just back on the farm shooting a shotgun. Just walking up, big cowboy boot. Okay. Thump. And you hear that. Boom. And it's awesome sound when it's going that way. Not coming when it's coming back. No, it's bad. It's not. And we're taking out the systems. Boone comes up and says, Tano, let's get high. Boone's our sniper. Roger that. I'm a Ranger. I'm 160 pounds, dripping wet, but Rangers, bat boys, we're door kickers. Rangers smash. We clear rooms. That's what we do. DA, direct action. Boone's my boy. I'm not leaving him behind. Roger, let's go. I grab my machine gun. I grab some more drums. I grab my M4, put some more weapons, some more ammo in my pockets because I'm up here up front, have my armor on, have my night vision on, have my helmet on. I was wearing shorts that night. That wasn't a dramatization. I did fight the Holy One shorts. I did. I had those on. I still got those things too. If I ever sell them on eBay, though, don't buy them, but I'll tell you later. But don't buy them. Don't. And we start jumping walls. And I remember, I'm 42 years old this time. I'm no spring chicken. I'm still in pretty good shape, but I'm jumping walls, and I'm tired. I mean, we're jumping 8-foot-high walls. We're playing the ultimate game of hide-and-go-seek. That is the ultimate game of hide-and-go-seek, because every time you come across a wall and you're playing hide-and-go-seek, if you get caught, you're dead. They're going to shoot you. You're dead. You're coming across that wall, and you're trying to get over, but you don't want to keep yourself up on the wall trying to sneak because now you're profiling yourself. It's tough because you never know what you're going to see coming across that wall. Then we go to these buildings, and we got to clear these buildings all the way to the top. I'm tired. And I think back Ranger School. I think back to Mountain Phase at Ranger School. What was it? Camp Merrill? Is that it? Yeah. And we're up there, and I remember climbing that thing. I remember being so tired and so hungry because you've already gone through almost 6 weeks of school already. So you're emaciated, you haven't eaten, you're tired as heck, and you're climbing mountains now, and you just will yourself through it. Just, I can get through this. I can get through this. And that's what I thought that night. Like, well, I can do this. I can do this. Your body will always quit before your mind. Always. So in my head, I'm going, I can suck this up and do it. And for some reason, the switch just turned on. I got this. I wasn't tired anymore. Well, we took us 30 minutes for that 400 meters. I know it didn't show in the movie. The book it did a little bit, but movie, it looked like it took us 5 minutes. It didn't. It took us 30 minutes to fight our way 400 meters on foot. So we get there, come over the back gate. As I come over the back gate, I see this 9-acre compound completely on fire. And I can still see it. I can still see the ambassador's villa, the smoke, just the fire. I mean, you saw some of the media stuff. That doesn't even come close to what it looked like. And I'm like, holy crap, that's gorgeous. It is. You will never see colors that pop like that except in comedy. You never will, because your senses are just attuned if you let yourself be in those situations. And I did. I go, thank you. Thank you for putting me in this situation. I said that coming over. I remember the first time I saw a VBIED, a Vehicle-Borne Improvised Explosive Device, in 2003 in Iraq, in Baghdad. I saw it go boom. And I just stood there and watched. And this guy that had been there for a little while, he a little saltered me. He goes, hey, idiot, they're going to probably start hitting us now. You need to move. And I started moving. You just see those things that it's amazing. And I know the carnage they create because I've seen it. watched the little girl playing that got blown up when somebody tried to hit us in the Mansour district in Baghdad. So I don't think it's all beautiful, but there are situations where the colors go. It's just that roller coaster up here or down here. Well, we get in that compound, and I see a team of leaders again, and we're just moving. Long story short, read the book, watch the movie, you can see what happened. I just don't have enough time to get into it, or we'd be here for 3-4 hours. The team moves and does what they need to do. In an hour, we find 5 survivors. We clear Ansar Syria and Al-Qaeda in the Maghreb off, the 6 of us, push them off. And I go and take my security position at 11:30 on the corner of this building. We're at the Bachelor's Villa, because we had to take turns going in that fiery building. Every time you went into that building, it was like going into a pizza oven filled with diesel smoke. I remember that first time I hit that door going through, I went, whoa, that's hot. I can't even breathe. Okay. And you suck it in, and you hold your breath. You run in as fast as you can. You can feel the hair on your arms singeing. You feel like your eyebrows are singeing off, and then you run back out to a voice that's calling you, hey, come here, here's the front, here's the front. That's how we had to do it. We had to play take turns, tag teaming each other. Well, as my turn was over, and I went and pulled security, because then when you weren't doing a turn, you had to pull security, because there's Libyans all over the compound. We don't know who friend or foe is. People are starting to come back on. So I'm pulling security right here. And that's when Boone comes up to me, and you never want to hear this. Boone's pissed. He doesn't get pissed. Boone is a professional. But you never quit. You never, ever quit. But he's pissed. He says, dang, if he just would have let us leave on time. If he just would have let us leave in those first 5 minutes, we could have got out of that gate. He'd still be alive. When he says that, my heart just goes down here, because he said, if he just could have left, he'd still be alive. And I'm thinking, oh, crap, we lost somebody. Some of my teammates died. Okay, time for back out. All right, who do you lose, brother? What's going on? What's going on? He goes, we lost one. We lost one. I'm like, crap. Okay, never quit. Fight through it. We still got a lot to go. A lot of fight left. You can't stop now. Who'd we lose? The IT guy. He goes, the IT guy. I'm thinking, who's the IT guy? I couldn't remember who it was. I couldn't. And then it just hit me. It's Sean. We lost Sean Smith. Shoot. You know, war's funny. It is. It's finicky. 10 years I've been going to places. And, you know, I've been injured a few times, but nothing real serious. Sean's 2 days. He's dead. That's how it is. You fight through it, though. You never give up. You never quit, no matter what's put in front of you. You push forward. And all I got to do to get Boone back into it, because he is a professional. Even though he's pissed, he was a sergeant in the Corps. I just go, Sergeant. And you see his eyes. He just comes back. I mean, it's like he just got it. God, how lucky was I to be there that night with those guys. He goes, I'm good. Okay, roger that. I run back to the front of the compound, and I see Jack Silva, Navy SEAL Jack, over Sean's body. Sean is dead. He knows he's dead. Scott Wickland, who's with the ambassador, is on a set of steps, like those right there, almost like those right there. He's sitting on a set of steps, rocking back and forth. He's going into shock. And he's sitting there going, he was just with me. He was just with me. You see the movie when he goes, he was just with me. That's what he was saying. He didn't make that up for the movie. That's what he was saying. He was just with me. He was just with me. I had to lose control of him. I don't blame him. Come on, he's watching himself get burned alive. He's thinking self-preservation. But Jack is in SEAL. And Jack starts to do chest compressions on a dead body. And I smile like, holy crap. I still get chills thinking about it. Because I'm like, holy crap, this is awesome. Well, why is that awesome? Because every time he does a chest compression, he looks up at Scott and says, stay with me, man. Stay with me. We're still in this fight. There's a math we do in the military. An injured body or death takes 3 people out of a fight. We already have a dead body. We have an injury, that's 6. We are combat ineffective. Navy SEAL Jack is staying positive over a dead body. Can you imagine looking at that, trying to stay positive, going, stay with me, man? I see Ty come and put his arm around Scott. He says, we're still in this fight. Those 2 SEALs. And I give SEALs a bunch of guff. You guys that follow me on social media, you know I do. I give Marcus crap. I love Rob O'Neill, SEAL that shot Bin Laden. I love Rob. But I give him crap because they're SEALs and I can't. But those guys epitomize strength, selfless service, courage, sacrifice. I don't know what goes through Jack's head now. I don't talk to him about it too much, but I know that it probably has stayed with him for his whole life. But he was doing that to get another guy in the fight. He's trying to stay positive, even though he's going to sacrifice his own emotional psyche for the rest of his life to get a guy back in the fight. That's awesome. Never quit. Well, it works. Scott comes out of his shock. Ty comes up after we load me in. Jack and Dave Ubin and myself, we all help and get Sean's body in the back of our SUV. And Ty comes up to me and Jack and says, they forgot all their classified information. You got to go back to the talk and get it. I'm like, crap, all right, fine, we'll go back. And we run that 100 meters back to their tactical operations center where all their classified information is. Now, normally, we would throw an incendiary grenade in there and just blow it up, burn it all. It would just burn. But even though we were qualified as Rangers and SEALs and within the special operations community to carry those things, we didn't go through the CIA, pull the pin, throw the grenade course, so we weren't allowed to carry them in Benghazi. So we just had our knives out, and we're just cutting wires. We're trying to get all the classified information, because all we can think of as classified is, of course, electronic media. That's where all the classified stuff's got to be. So we come out of that compound and we have our arms just full of computers and hard drives and thumb drives, pockets full. Now I want you to imagine this. Now I'm going down. I can feel myself. My emotional state is just dropping. I'm getting depressed. And I think Jack saw it. Well, we're running through this compound, our arms full of computers. So Mexicano. Jack is Portuguese, which is Mexican light, basically. So we're running. So I got Mexican light, and he thinks we all speak like Cheech Marin. That's what he always says. We all speak like Cheech and Chong. So we're walking, we're running through this compound, burning buildings everywhere, glasses broken out, fire everywhere. We got our hands full of computers. You can see where I'm going with this. He looks at me, he sees I'm coming down, and he tells a joke. He goes, man, this looks like we just robbed the Best Buy. And I didn't think it was a joke, but I about fell over laughing. People don't realize that this happens. This happens in combat. This is what actually happens. You find any way to keep yourself going. And it worked. How lucky was I to be with those guys that night? I look at him and I just laugh, and it pricks my spirits back up. We throw all the classified information in the back of an SUV. I go back and I pull security again. I'm behind the villa, so there's the back side here, and then I'm on this defilade side here on the opposite side. And as I'm taking a knee on this side, there's a boom, and it sucks the wind out of me, because that overpressure, whenever it's a grenade or RPG or anything, whenever there's an explosion nearby, whether you get with shrapnel or not, you still feel it. You still, and it sucks the wind out of me. And my gun immediately comes up like this, because that's where the explosion was. And I see a Libyan run by me. He'd come like this. But where this hand should be, there's no hand. It's missing. So he comes by me, and there's no hand. So my gun comes up like this, and there's no hand. So he's running by me like this. I'm like, okay. Well, his buddy that's behind him is running after him, holding his hand like this. My mind is like, what's going on? I'm like, and I want to call out to him and say, hey, stop, you forgot your hand. Your buddy's got your hand. And I did. I chuckled. People are like, well, that's awful. I said, no, that's how it is. And I look, and as I'm looking back, and the buddy, he's got his hand. I go, what happened? He goes, grenade. And I'm thinking to myself, well, don't throw grenades at this thing. I thought he pulled the pin, held it for 3 seconds instead of 2 seconds before he threw it. And it blew his hand off. So my gun comes down, I'm like, yeah, okay. Rub some dirt on it, you'll be fine. Because I'm thinking he tried to kill us. Now, could I have shot him there? Probably. Been okay with it? Probably. We had a lot of weapons discipline that night, a lot. I come down, I take a knee, big explosion again. This one rocks me. It's closer. And I heard the first explosion go boom, boom. And I know it's an RPG. And then I hear the snap. Snap, 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 snap. We're getting attacked. Counterattacked. And I find the only thing I can find. I found a vehicle. And I got behind the engine block. I leaned back the hood. Now you tactical guys, go through tactical courses. We even teach them. They'll say, get on the hood, get off the hood. It makes no difference. If a bullet has your name on it, it's got your name on it, it's going to come hit you in the face regardless. But you can still protect your shins, because rounds skip. And now they do skip. So I got behind the engine block and the wheel well, and all I thought back was old Ranger. I thought going back to when I was in RIP, Ranger Indoctrination Program, where they used to teach us about the actions of Ranger Battalion. I thought back to Panama, Rio Hato, when they jumped on the airfield. They jumped on an airfield that had no cover at all, nothing. And how they got off of it. They didn't run away. They shot their way off. Then I remember back to basic training or anything else that we got, even in Iraq, where if we got hit, we hit back. I get my gun up and I just start shooting as fast as I can, because some Libyan had left the back gate open. A Libyan commander that said he had the bad guy's phone number. He left it open. We were getting counterattacked. And I shoot as fast as I can. All I'm doing is shooting. And as I'm shooting, behind this vehicle, somebody goes, "Rrr," and I'm thinking, who is honking a horn at me in this situation? This can't be. I'm hearing things, and I just keep shooting. I keep shooting. I keep shooting. I hear, "Vrr, vrr." Thinking, somebody is honking a horn at me. And I look. I use the State Department's SUV to take cover. So I'm looking at Scott's eyes. His eyes are huge. And I'm thinking, dude, you're in an armored vehicle. Could you at least give me 30 seconds? I really need it right now. And I just keep shooting, and he keeps honking the horn. And I back off that vehicle, and I go, fine, then come on. And they go right, and I take a knee. I'm about this much cover. I had no other cover than this. They do right again. And as they go right again, I hear Jack, and I hear Ty say, you're going the wrong way. They got crushed. That scene from the movie where they got ambushed, that wasn't a dramatization. They got mashed. We told them, when you go out the compound, go left, don't go right. The group that attacked them in South Sharia, their safe house was right next to them. They lived next to the terrorist safe house. That was where the compound was. We couldn't do anything for them. We were in our own firefight. And I just keep shooting. Now I'm going to tell you I feel protected every time. I don't. I'm not going to tell you that'd be a lie. But I did that night. I got you. Warm, good feeling around me, and I'm shooting. And as I'm shooting, I see an AK-47 muzzle come by my ear, and it goes boom. It blows my eardrum out. And I look, and there's this Libyan that came out of nowhere. It looked like he just got work from Mutual of Omaha or Mutual of Libya or whatever you want to call it. Nice button-down shirt, nice slacks, nice shoes, and he smiles at me. And I'm just thinking, hey, this is the damnedest thing. God just put a little Libyan angel right next to me. How cool is this? And I'm shooting. He's shooting. I'm running out of ammunition. Boone's my best friend. He knows what I need. He's already coming. He takes a knee, already has a magazine in his hand. He gives it to me. I reinsert. He's shooting. Libyan angel shooting. And I see on the top of the villa that's on fire, I see a muzzle flash. It's the Marine. The Marine is up on a building that's on fire, shooting. I had to ask Tig the next day. I said, dude, because he's a Marine and sometimes their brain synapses don't touch all over. I said, dude, you did realize that building was on fire, right? You knew that. He said, it was a better fighting position. Man, I don't want to let you guys down. Selfless service, sacrifice. I think people realize how much that goes on. I will always go to combat with the Marine, always. Because they will always put themselves out front between you and the gunfire. They always will. I love that guy. Well, they take off. We have an ISR feed, a drone feed overhead now. It's 11:30, 11:45. And the drone is saying, get back to the annex. There's people massing. They're going to overrun it. They're going to attack it. So we make a decision. As a leader, you always have to make a decision. Well, you don't always have to. What I will tell you if you're going to go into leadership, if you are a leader, make a decision. The worst thing you can do is make no decision at all. And we made a decision, and we left. We got out of there. We got back to our annex. We went up to our positions to get ready to get attacked over there because we see people massing in a parking lot east. And I'm thinking, we left somebody behind. We left the ambassador. Never leave a fallen comrade to fall in the hands of the enemy. That's part of the fifth stanza of the Ranger Creed, and we did. And we didn't know it. We tried to find him. We did. We went in and out of that building so many times trying to find him. He was found by locals at 1 p.m., half on his bed, half on the floor. When the fire and the smoke finally died down, they were able to get back far enough and found him, and they pulled him out. But we left him. As a leader, sometimes you'll make decisions, too, that you'll have to live with for the rest of your life, and I will, forever. Every day it goes by, I do not think about it. But if we did make the right decision. Because if we didn't get out of there, then that compound would have been attacked and we would have lost 30 people. Yeah, it's a hard decision, but you make it. We get back there and we do get attacked again. And we see people moving. As we see people moving, I'm in my night vision. And again, if you watch the movie again, that's pretty dang accurate. You're watching that greenish, yellowish hue and you're seeing your lasers and they're bouncing off people and we're holding. Because I'm seeing people move and get close to us. And I don't want to shoot friendlies. Like I said, I've seen innocents die. I have. And they used houses. The terrorists, Ansar Sharia and Al-Qaeda, they were using houses that had families in them to get closer to us. They were going in the front door, coming out the back door. And I'm thinking, gosh, and I'm not seeing an AK. I'm like, Boone, do you see an AK? Ty, do you see an AK? I do not see any guns. All right, Chief, we're expecting friendlies. Are we expecting friendlies? I don't know if any friendlies are coming. And they're just getting closer and closer. And by the way they're moving, you know they're bad guys. Blackwater guys had just gone to federal prison for an incident in Iraq. We knew that. We knew that we had to be justified if we were going to take aim on these people. So we needed guns. And I remember I did finally see an AK, and Ty says, Tono, everybody's got AKs in Libya. If they're not firing at you, don't fire back. I don't want to go to prison. Roger that. And I just said, okay, guys, I'm going to start lasing targets. And I just started lasing them with my laser so people could see what I was seeing. And then I see a fizz come over the back fence. As that fizz comes over, it's a little fizz lands. I'm thinking, well, it's out of everybody's way. It looked like a Bugs Bunny cartoon. You see the stick of dynamite come over. It lands, and I look, and Tig's out of his position. And it lands right next to Tig. That scene in the movie where you see that little bomb come over and land right next to Tig, he was getting water, and he was running back to him and Oz's position. That thing just landed right next to him, and I saw, ba-boom, and it's a huge explosion. It just rocks me. And you just feel the whole compound just shake. And I'm looking and going, oh, crap, well, we'll get Tig's body parts up later. And I transition, and we just start shooting terrorists. They're not coming over that gate. They're not coming over our fences. And then we take them out. You want to see what happened? The movie is very accurate. Books, pretty accurate too. We wrote it. Granted, we had to get Mitchell Zukoff in to help us because when you have Marines and SEALs and Rangers writing a book, it turns into a coloring pop-up book. So we had to get somebody. And Mitchell, again, political differences or anything aside, Mitchell is an outstanding person, and he did a fantastic job getting all that together with a bunch of egos in there trying to tell a story. Well, as that first firefight ended, I look back, I'm like, well, let's go get Tig. And I see Tig out of his fighting position. Actually, he's in his fighting position. He's off the ground, and he's actually there. I'm thinking, holy crap, whatever Tig's eating, I want some of that stuff. He actually got hit with a round in his steel plate that first firefight, too. He got hit with what we call a gelatina bomb. They use it for fishing. Mediterranean fishermen use it. It's big, basically big flashbang. You drop it in the ocean, boom, fish come up. Fish are big in the ocean. So you got to increase it. You can't just do normal U.S. redneck fishing there. You got to do Mediterranean redneck fishing. Drop, boom, because the fish come bigger. Now, Tig is messed up for life. His spine is jacked up. His shoulder still goes numb. If I would have been me, I would have died. It would have stopped my heart. But because Tig's like 6'3", 220, 225, it didn't stop his heart. Well, we wait. Between 1 and 3 o'clock, that's when Boone keeps coming to me. He comes to me for 1 a.m., between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. He comes up to me and goes, hey, Spectre gunship's coming. Then he comes back. He goes, no, it's not coming. Then he comes back to me and goes, hey, we got word that Delta's coming in from, I think it was Croatia. And he comes back to me and goes, no, they're not coming either. They're not coming. Hey, 10 Special Forces Group, Commander's Extremist Force, they're heading in from Spain. They've been moved to Sigonella. Then he comes up to me and says, no, they're not. He comes in again, and I said, hey, if it's not Domino's Pizza, I don't want to know who's coming in. Because it's just nobody's coming. We know nobody's coming. There ain't nobody coming. We're on our own. And then you get word at 3 o'clock, there's people massed again, and we look, and they just come at us again. And this was a massive force, wave after wave. And you just take them out. Hey, the terrorists. We're protecting people out our compound. We're protecting Americans, and we're protecting Muslims that live with us there. They aren't coming over. Watch the movie, you can see that second firefight. I remember after that second firefight, between 3 and 4, we get word that Bub's team's coming in from Tripoli. Bub died that night too. We get word they're coming in. I remember Boone, I looked at him, and I remember feeling like they're going to get this figured out. And I said that to him. I go, you know, they're going to get this figured out. They're going to come at us with something bigger. We're going to have to get off these walls. We're going to have to go get them. What I was actually saying to him, but I'm a man, so I don't say it I say it in manly terms. I was saying, hey, you realize if they come at us, we're going to have to get off this roof, get out there, get to them, because our weapons won't reach their distances, and we're going to die probably. Are you with me? That's what I was asking him. Boone's my best friend. He knows me. He just looks at me and he goes, yep. How lucky was I to be there in that situation, because I'd go back in a heartbeat to be with my best friend, knowing that he would go to hell and back with me, even if it meant that we weren't going to come back. Well, Bub's team's coming in about 5, and I remember I hear them. They're coming in, 3 of their GRS guys, 2 Delta Force guys, and 1 interpreter. They're coming in. They've been trying to find our compound. They cannot find it. The locals that brought them in, the local militia, they didn't know we lived either. So Bub's on the radio going, GRS, we cannot find you guys. We don't know where you're at. Can you mark your location? So I said, Roger, get your night vision on. I'll lasso our location. So I get my infrared laser up. I go, Bub, you got your infrared on? He goes, yeah, I got my night vision on. I go, Roger. And I go like this. Front of the gate. He goes, I got it. Now, it's been 8.5 hours we've been at it. And you can just feel the team's morale, the energy just getting sucked out of that base. And I'm telling him, I got to tell the joke. I couldn't think of anything. I was so tired. So as I'm doing this and I point down, Bub says, I got it. We're coming in. I point towards the front gate. I said something. Now, it was self-deprecating. I made fun of myself. Sometimes put your pride aside. Sometimes you got to make fun of yourself. Tell a joke that maybe knocks you down to make everybody else laugh, okay? It's okay. Put the ego out there. Get it out of there. And I did. Granted, I didn't know it was going to be on a million movie screens later. But I went like this. I put my rifle down. My infrared laser went down. I see Bub says, I got it. We're coming in. He's getting close. And I thought, okay, I got a joke. I can tell something. Get the morale up. I go, break. Guys, I know this is an awkward time to tell you this, but I've had to take a crap since we left the consulate. The joke wasn't funny. Only thing about jokes is timing. The timing was funny. It was at the perfect time. And the reason I said it is because I did for 5 hours. I couldn't think of anything else. 5 hours and 2 firefights with a turtle head just coming out that whole time. I mean, now you know why if I sell those shorts on eBay, you do not want them. Okay? But it worked. I heard Jack laughing on his building. Boone was laughing. He was looking at me going, typical Boone looking at Tonto going, you idiot, because he does hold my leash. He is the holder of Tonto's leash. He's the only guy that can say something to me, and I'll say, okay, what do we need to do? Oh, let's do it. He's laughing, though, and we needed it. We needed to get our spirits back up because we're going to get hit one more time, 5th time that night. Bub's team comes in. Bub comes in. I see Bub go to Building C, which from I was on Building A, Building C is probably at the back of that room. It's the only distance away. I see Bub, I see Oz, I see Dave Ubin, and I see Bub, Oz, Dave Ubin, and I see Tyrone up there. And I see this militia park on the outside of our compound. They park there waiting. So I'm thinking, okay, we're going to get out of here. All right, let's go. We got a militia with us. And then I heard a shh. It didn't sound like a mortar. I've heard mortars before. This ear had been shot out by the Libyan Angel there in the consulate. Boone, this is why you don't have your best friend be a Marine. During the second firefight, his .308 rifle was right next to my ear, and I don't have hearing protection. So he was shooting at targets, and as he was shooting at people, he was terrorists, shooting at terrorists. He's shooting it. It's hurting my ear because it's right next to my ear, and I'm shifting down like this during the second firefight. He thought it was funny. This is the Marine. He's shifting with me to make sure he's blowing out my eardrum. He actually said, when I got done with that second firefight at our annex, I go, and I called him a few experts. I said, I'm deaf in this ear now, too. He's a bad joker. He just said, casualty of war, brother, and he walked off laughing. But I couldn't hear. It didn't sound right. And I've been hit with mortars before. Baghdad, we got mortared all the time. Didn't sound like it. And I went, did you guys hear that? And then it just hit me. I'm like, that's got to be a mortar. I went, mortars. And so as I said, take cover, I saw the first one go boom, and it went off the backside of Building C, and I see Ty spin. We're getting hit for the 5th time from a different direction, and Ty spins. He's got a machine gun, and he holds that thing, and he just goes cyclic. And with night vision, it looks like a laser because those bullets are just coming out, one after the other. And I see Oz start shooting, I see Bub start shooting, I see Dave Ubin start shooting, and I start shooting over their heads, and I think, well, I better look behind me, because what we would do is we would send mortars, then we'd send the cavalry over the dang walls of the Alamo and over in the compound. So I'm thinking I'm going to come back and look at a bunch of terrorists coming over those walls, and I don't see any. So I'm like, okay, and I re-engage. And then I see a boom. My night vision, when you see an explosion and that big of light, that light, your night vision just goes out white, just turns white. You can't see anything. Then it comes back, and then you kind of see the aftermath. So I see a boom, my night vision goes white. As it comes back, I see a guy. There's 3 guys now. 1 guy's out. Even in all that carnage, all that firefight, when somebody thinks they're going to die, you can hear it. And it's Dave Ubin. He's going, I'm hit. He's got shrapnel in his face. Can't do anything for him. We're still getting attacked. Self-aid. You got to treat yourself, Dave. Keep shooting. I go back. Nobody's coming. I come back, and I see a boom. Boom, boom. My night vision goes white for a little bit longer this time because I watched 381 millimeter mortars hit dead fire for effect on that roof. As it comes back, I don't see a team. They're gone. I see pixie dust. I see this dust. Whenever the dust or explosion or something goes off, you got night vision on, it gets charged and it's heated, and it looks like Peter Pan pixie dust. And my brain's going, your team's turned to dust. I watched my team get turned to dust in front of my eyes. That's why when people say this is a political story or this is going to be political, you go watch your friends all die in front of your face when you're shooting over the top of them. And my brain just can't figure it out. And God says, get your gun up, Ranger. And I start shooting again. You never give up. You never, ever quit, ever. And I see this militia, they take off. And I'm thinking, God, you chickens, get back here. And I see a guy get up on that roof, and it's Tig. Those mortars are far from fake. Tig's already on that roof to see if there's any survivors. And I see some guy get up out of nowhere. I'm like, holy crap, there's this guy alive up there. And he gets up. Every time he tries to shoot, his rifle falls. Well, it's Oz. The reason his rifle's falling is because his arm is hanging down like this because a piece of shrapnel took it off. But he still wants to get in the fight. And he's still trying to shoot. I remember asking him when he healed up finally, what were you thinking? He goes, again, Marine, same Marine, I didn't want you guys down. He wasn't thinking of his own self. He was thinking, I want to get my gun to fight because I don't want anybody else dying. Tig gets and sets him down. Mark already, as he sits down, even though he's in shock because he's been hit with 3mm mortars, he's already got a tourniquet out and he's trying to get a tourniquet on that arm. Tig tries to help him a little bit. Then he sees 3 other guys. He says, I remember talking to Tig the next day in Germany. I said, what'd you see? He goes, man, I saw Tyrone was in the fetal position. I did the vital signs, look, listen, feel, did everything. He says he was dead. I go up to Bub. Bub's face down. He said, I rolled him over, look, listen, feel, did the vital signs, nothing. He's dead. I go to Dave Ubin, and he says, I walked with Dave Ubin, and Dave's leg was at a 90-degree angle, and his arm was at a 90-degree angle. It looked like they were off because he was wearing long pants and a long shirt. So he says, I went over there. He had his pistol out. He was in a shock. He says, I took his pistol away from him. He started to panic. So he says, I took the magazine out. I gave him a pistol that was unloaded just in case that he had he's in panic. He's going to shoot somebody. He doesn't want to shoot a friendly. He goes, and I got tourniquets on Dave. Then I went back to Oz. And this is when we started laughing at the bar the next day. He goes, I saw Oz, and got his tourniquet on tighter, but he kept doing this, and it was pissing me off. He kept going, look what I can do with my arm. I can do 360. I thought it was the coolest thing that he could actually move his arm everywhere. Now you guys think, man, demented. That's war. Well, I remember he says, finally I was getting it down and I got that tourniquet on there and he kept playing with his arm. And I said, well, how'd you get him to stop playing with it? If you want a Marine to stop doing anything, this is all you got to do. Tell him this thing right here. If he's playing with something. He said, I told him if he kept playing with it, he'd go blind, and he stopped. Hey, us Rangers, Marines, that's our humor that's our humor, period. He also gave Oz a job. He goes, you're going to have to get your butt off this roof. Can you do it? Oz says, I guess I'm going to have to. Oz climbed his own butt down off that roof with the ladder. We don't have stairs, with one arm, bleeding. He slipped on the rungs, and he caught himself. I saw he goes, because of all the blood. You never quit. You never give up. You can get through anything. Well, we finally get a militia coming, and I remember I heard on the radio, our chief and team leader, because there's 3 guns left. It's me, Jack, and Boone. That's it. Chief says, Tano, you got the front gate. There's people coming in. We need to make sure they're friendly. I go, roger that, Chief. I said, what do they look like? We said, it's a local militia. They're coming in. I go, okay, got it. What are the color of their vehicles? He goes, we don't know. I said, do they have emblems on their vehicles? He goes, we don't know that either. I go, uniforms. He goes, we have no clue what they look like either as far as uniforms. I said, okay, how many? He goes, 30 to 50, including technicals. A technical is a truck that has a machine gun or anti-aircraft gun in the back that can blow a hole through a brick wall. I go, roger that, Chief. I said, do I have communications with him? Any radio phone? He goes, nope, we had nothing with him again. I go, Chief, you realize I have an M4. How am I supposed to stop these guys? If you watch the movie again, you see Pablo. It's exactly how I felt. I saw him coming. I'm like, that's it. Never quit. I may go down, I'm going to take somebody with me. And I got behind that parapet wall, and I put my red dot, because it's daytime now, on the front guy, on his forehead. All I could think of was this. That wasn't part of the movie. That's what I did. I learned the jumbo from working overseas for so much. The majority of the menial labor in Afghanistan, the Middle East, North Africa, is done by Africans. I learned it from Sudanese and Tunisians that worked in those countries, that helped us. In Mosul, actually, a Sudanese guy, I drive out of the gate, he was there, a Sudanese local security guard that somebody hired. Every time I got to know him real well, and every time I went by, he goes, hey, Tonto, Jumbo, and I wanted to make sure he wasn't basically telling me to F off. I thought that's what it meant. So I asked him one day, he goes, what does that mean? He goes, it's shocking, it just means be cool. So every country that I went to, if I gave this sign out, and I did it a lot, if I got it back, 9 times out of 10, they were friendlies. That's the only thing I could think of. So I went like this. And I'm clinched. I'm not going to lie and tell you I wasn't. I was pretty tight. And the guy in the front vehicle, he's chewing khat, which is basically Copenhagen mixed with steroids and cocaine. It's basically what it is. He looks like he's been chewing it since he was 2. His mouth is disgusting. It's an amphetamine they chew before they go into combat. It gets you all spun up. It's like doing a hit of cocaine. I've never done khat. I'm just saying that's what people tell me. I don't know. I'm serious, I never have, guys. Pastor, I've never done khat or cocaine, ever. But I remember my red dots right there on that guy's forehead, and he just goes like this to me. Now, I ain't proud to admit, but I've been divorced twice. I married up. They just got smart is what they did. Like, well, we were with you. I've dated a couple real pretty girls the last 4 years, too. Seen some beautiful smiles on my trips. And to this day, I still have never seen a smile as beautiful as that cot poopy-looking grin from that Libyan when he smiled at me and he went like this. And I did. I said, they're with us. They're with us. There was one dramatization in the movie, only one. It's where I cried. I didn't cry for real. I didn't. I didn't. No, I did. It's like, they're with us. And Boone says, where are these guys at 9:30? I'm like, roger that. It's ironic, too. The militia that took out that mortar team that escorted Bub's team in, and that militia that came and saved us, basically saved us twice. For those that don't know this, we're Gaddafi's militia. Gaddafi saved us. And if you don't believe me, you go read, if you want to read all of Trey Gowdy's report, it's in there. We got saved by Gaddafi. Don't always believe what you see on TV, guys. We should never have been in Libya. We shouldn't have. Messed that country up. They're good people there. Well, we get ready and we get loaded up on all the local militia and we get out of there. We get to the airfield. Bub never quit because of Bub's actions, even though he died. Bub's actions that night before coming over, by getting that plane over to Benghazi from Tripoli, he saved 2 more lives because Oz and Dave had almost ran out of blood. They were bleeding out. He didn't look for accolades. Don't ever do anything looking for accolades or look at attaboys, look what I did. You do it because it's the right thing to do. He did the right thing. He paid for it with his life, but he still did the right thing. And I know he's up there going, I'm proud of him. And he's proud of himself, I'm sure. Well, we got that plane. We get all the non-shooters on there. We get our 2 injured guys on there. It flies back to Tripoli. Those guys still have their arms and their legs because of what took place, because of Bub's actions. We waited. At 10:30, I see a C-130 land. As I see it land, I'm thinking, yay, Air Force, finally an American plane, finally. And it's a Libyan flag on it. And I'm like, still no Americans. Never quit, though. Don't feel sorry for yourself. Get your head up. Keep going. We've got to find a way out of here. That plane lands. We went and talked to those pilots. That plane was not for us. I don't care what you read. I don't care what you see. We went and talked to those pilots, and they said, roger, we'll fly you out. That's the 3rd time we were saved by Libyans that night. Well, we get on that plane. We fly back to Tripoli. Have a couple hours off. Get a shower, get some food. I have no clothes, so I got some from another GRS guy there at the Tripoli annex. And then we go to the airfield, and we see the first U.S. aircraft I saw, C-17, flown by Eric Stahl. And the loadmaster, she was awesome, so awesome. They already had the flags on the coffins, and they already had everything set up. And she let us, even though you're not supposed to, she let us load our dead on the plane. And I sat next to him the whole flight home. She was awesome, fantastic loadmaster. She broke a lot of rules, but she did the right thing. We get to Germany. USO, if you have any qualms about helping a foundation, don't ever have qualms about the USO. Help them. I got in there, and the USO, they could see me. I mean, I had nothing. They already had stations set up for us for toiletries, underwear, pajamas, sweats. We had something to wear. And then a USO representative came up to me and says, hey, you don't have anything. Did you lose all your clothes? I'm like, yes, ma'am, I did. And she goes, well, what'd you lose? And I wrote it out, and she basically took it down, like jeans. I lost jeans, tennis shoes, and T-shirts. And luckily, we had an Air Force base in our Army or a Marine base, so there's, Saks Fifth Avenue, Neiman Marcus, and stuff like that. So I got really good stuff. I got better stuff than what I came out with. But they took care of us. It's awesome. I went to bed, woke up the next morning, turned the TV on, see something about a video and a protest, turned the TV off, went back to bed. Well, that's it for Benghazi. Now, if you can get anything from this story, again, politics, Benghazi is not about politics. Benghazi is about heroism. Benghazi is about how everybody should act, giving of yourself, selfless service and sacrifice. Now, I'm not telling you not to have your political views. We all do. It's okay. But Benghazi itself is nothing about that. It's about overcoming all the adversity that may be put in front of you, even the worst case situation, because you can. And it's also about, even with everything that's going on in our country right now, I'll tell you what, this is still the greatest country in the world, because when I set foot back on here again and walked in the U.S. airport, it was like walking in Disneyland again. I want you to remember that. So in closing, all I want to say is first, and I didn't do this at the beginning, veterans in the audience, law enforcement, thank you for your service. You guys are awesome. Vietnam veterans. And you Vietnam veterans, last thing, since you didn't get it and you should have, welcome home. God bless y'all. Go ahead and I'll be right back. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks. I'll go and ask questions. I just need some water. It always takes a little bit out of me. Yeah, it's great. I think I'll be okay. I'll be good. Thank you. I'm here. Yes, sir.
All right. In no particular order, this is what we got. What was your most fearful moment during the attack?
Honestly, the fear, again, the adrenaline was there, but it wasn't fear. It was just adrenaline. And that's kind of how you turn it. Now, if it would have happened to me when I first started as a private, yeah, I would have been different. But because I've been through 10 years of deploying, because I've been 8 years of going through all that, and that's why they do crush us at Ranger School. That's why they do crush us at Ranger Battalion. That's why you do get punished, because you have to be able to see that there is fear, but it's just adrenaline. And you got to utilize that adrenaline to your advantage. And again, I think that was a blessing that it happened when it did. The whole team, we were all in our 40s. All of us were senior guys. Because of that, we were able to hold it together. So to say there was fear, no, but the adrenaline was the first call. That's when it always happens. The first call, hey, something's going on. Jairus, we need you in the team room. That's when the adrenaline went, whoosh. After that, then you just start using that adrenaline, because finally you're going to run out of energy. I mean, there's only so many Snickers bars you can eat in one night. You got to feed off the adrenaline. And I was eating Snickers bars all night, and it does. That's the truth. Snickers does help you. It pumps you back up. That commercial's right. It did. So but again, the fear is not there, but it's how you interpret it. Do you fight or flight? It's that fight or flight response, and you have to consciously think about it when that adrenaline comes in. What am I going to do? Am I going to run away, or am I going to go towards it? And there's not a right or wrong answer to that.
All right. And these are from you.
Oh, that's a good one. Why do you preface with that, man? I'm just going to sit down for this one then. All right. Go ahead.
Were you ever given a logical reason for not receiving air support in Benghazi?
Logical reason? No. Were we given reasons? Oh, sure, we're given plenty of reasons. Wasn't available, wasn't nearby, even though it's 20 minutes away from Sigonella. 555th Fighter Wing is, with afterburners on, it's 2 hours away. They also have a detachment in Suda Bay, because we used to fly into Suda Bay and station there, and their jets were right outside my window. So, no. A logical reason? No. But, I guess anybody can think what they want to think, and that's fine. You're entirely your opinion, but there were plenty of assets around us. That's why Boone kept coming up to me and saying, and I was one calling them, guys. That's why Boone kept coming up to me and saying, hey, they're coming. No, they're not, because those are the assets we'd utilized before in different ops, and all of a sudden they're not available that night. So, no, we were not. But again, You can believe what you want to believe. I'm just telling you what was going on the ground there from a guy that was actually in Libya for 6 months working.
This is a little longer question. Given the obvious concern you have about safety and well-being of your fellow military men and women around the world, what is your opinion of Donald Trump's Twitter-based approach to foreign policy?
You know what? And I've said it, I did this, what was that thing we did? Judy, and just, Judy runs my business. So for any of y'all that have some gender-related questions, be careful because she'll answer them for me because she is in charge of my business. So if that tells you anything about, okay? So just be careful out there if you're trying to snipe me. But anyway, where was that place we spoke at? Mohegan Sun? What was that called, where I sit with all the political pundits? What's it called? Anyway, I sat and I said in between, get off Twitter. You got to. I just don't. I don't like the Twitter thing. Now, granted, though, we've put ourselves in that situation. We utilize social media, and social media is a way to get stuff out. Believe me, I use it and I hate it, but I use it. We put ourselves in that situation. So what do you think he's going to do? Of course, he's going to use it because he's going to get attacked on it. So, do I agree with it? No. Would I use it if I was president? No, I wouldn't. Do I think some of the things he says are inappropriate? He has a little bit of a. You're asking me though, so. But is he wrong? But is he wrong? No. A lot of stuff he says he's hitting back at stuff that he's getting hit on, and that's just how it is. So, my answer is, oh yeah, go ahead. There's more. I thought that was the question. I mean, if you're scared about the answer, don't ask the dang question.
Especially his repeated taunts of North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un in the midst of increased tests of nuclear weapons.
Well, what does Twitter have to do if we're letting him have a nuclear weapon, which we started doing, 20 years ago? There's some other administrations that didn't do anything. Honestly, he can Twitter all he wants about it. I worry what Matt. I don't worry. I want to know, and I know we got in good hands because I got Mad Dog Mattis taking care of it. So he can Twitter all he wants, but as long as he says, "General, you take care of business," I'm good with it. Because I don't listen to. No, I don't. And is he gonna push? And I'll say it. And if you can send this to Kim Jong Il if you want, or Hans Blix or whatever his name is, if the dude. If he's going that direction, then what does he expect? I believe me. People that have been in war and seen death. We don't want war. Do I like to go? Will I go back? Do I like to fight in? Yes, I do. Would I rather be though at home fishing with my kids? Sure, I would. But this has gotten so far out, and it's been a long time coming. And I've been doing this job for 18 years. That this little Twitter thing. That's not the issue. It was when it originated when we said, hey, you're under control. We got you. Oh, but go ahead and keep getting your nuclear facilities going. That was the problem. That was 20-some years ago. Now we're at a point. I hope it doesn't go to where I hope it doesn't go where people may think it may go, which is nuclear war. We don't want that. I don't want to see that. I want my kids to grow up too. But what else can you do?
Regarding your association with Pamela Geller, do you support a ban on Muslims? Going so far as supporting the deportation of anyone of the religion despite their American citizenship?
Who's Pamela Geller? Do I support Pamela Geller? Oh. Okay. Maybe did I retweet something, so now I'm her supporter? Sorry. I retweeted something from McDonald's, too, and I don't support Ronald McDonald all the time. I mean, no, of course, if you go to my leading, or I even have my own, and I'm outspoken about it, and I even spoken to this administration, I've fought alongside Muslims. I've been there right next to them taking fire, and they've been right next to me. I stood with the Taliban and said, hey, I need to search you because I don't want you to blow yourself up because my buddies in Coast just got blown up because we didn't frisk a guy. And he sit there, and my other buddy wanted to beat him down. And I said, no. Buddy, Taliban, let me take you aside. I know you don't want me to touch your Quran. That's fine. Here's my Bible. We are the same. I'm having a conversation with these guys. No, of course I don't. I support, and like I said before, all Christians, we support everybody. No, if you're a terrorist or you have terrorist ties, you're not a Muslim, and I think good Muslims will tell you, no, you are not. If I'm wrong, then, I'm sorry. But I of course, I don't support any deportation. My grandfather was an illegal. He came over here. He also said we don't take handouts from anybody either, and we didn't. Okay? So, yeah, so to answer your question, no, I don't support. But if you've got ties to radical jihadism or you got ties to terrorism, then you're not a Muslim. And I think the Muslim community would probably agree with that. If they wouldn't, that's on you then.
Last question. What is the best advice you can give to future military men and women?
Oh, serve. The best advice, go in there. You're going to learn so much. You're going to be, it's a new world to you. You are, and you got to get through the first couple years, and it's going to suck, and you got to embrace it. You got to embrace the suck. It's going to be awful. But you learn so much, and you learn about brotherhood and sisterhood. And when I say brotherhood, I know politically we're on a college, so I'm trying to be a little bit more. When I say brotherhood, I mean everybody. Because we don't see races, genders. We don't see that when stuff starts hitting the fan. For everybody that doesn't know, I said, I'm Mexican. Boone's black. You didn't know that? You know why he's not portrayed that way in the movie? Because we didn't see that in the movie. We saw brothers and sisters, soldiers. Go in, serve, be ready to be tested. Go to the special op, test yourself, break yourself off a little bit. You will grow so much, and you're just going to come out 100 times better. You are. But you have to, I say serve. I don't care who the president is. The military is still one of the greatest, most honorable occupations in the world, and you will become a better person because of it. So. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me. I know. Why do you look familiar? I don't. You look like honestly, you look like a.
Am I on? My name's David Hines, president of Victoria College. I want to thank all of you for coming out tonight. If you want a book signed, if you line up at this ramp or this ramp, there are going to be folks here writing inscriptions that you want inscribed in your book. If you'll go through, we're going to do this. Try to do this quickly so everybody can get a book signed that they'd like. And I just want to say a very huge thank you to the Welder Center staff who did a great job.